in Marvel vs. Capcom 1, you have 2v2, right? It was the one that made 2v2 first, and that changed the game because nobody really thought of 2v2 tag team stuff. I think they were the first for sure. And then after that, others began to do tag teams and stuff like that. And then MVC2 came around and they kind of pushed the limit and did 3v3, right? Um, and that took it to the next level. Now, of course, we've had other MVC games, and they kind of either reverted or stayed the same. In three, we still had 3v3, right? And then in Infinite, we had kind of reverted and went 2v2. Um, and so the logical thing, or just like the normie thing to think is, okay, it's going to be 4 versus 4 in the new Marvel versus Capcom. Right? At least that's the what you think would happen. Um, but according to Max, well, he thinks that it's not a good idea to do 4v4, and that it would be too much to do or whatever. And that's what got me thinking. How will Marvel vs. Capcom push the limits of how many characters you could fight within a game? Because 3v3, even when it happened, you were like, that's too much, right? The your head can't really wrap around that, but and I started to think, how could you make this possible? How could you make it, you know, to where it's not that complicated and where it's not just adding another character, because that would be kind of bland in itself to just be 4 versus 4. And I mean, if you look at this art here, um, there is 4 teams here. So, people are rumoring or making conspiracies that this is a sign that Marvel versus other Capcom is gonna, you know, try to make a Marvel versus Capcom 4 and make it to where it's 4v4, right? 4v4. Try to say it fast 3 times. 4v4, 4v4, 4v4. And yeah, I mean, people have pointed this out. There's 2 demons, right? There's 2 ninjas from each side. There's 2 captains, and Spider-Man and Akuma. I don't know what they have in common, um, but basically the point is there's 2, of each, which is 4 teams here, right? And I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, maybe they're gonna do it, and I want to put forth some ideas into how they would make it possible and not be so crammed in there. Um, pause. And the best, because I was thinking about it, and I was like, the best way to do it is for each character to have special abilities, a limited amount of special abilities and special moves connected to certain buttons. Um, you know, and the best way that I could explain it is by this picture and other things that I saw in gaming already, because it's been done in gaming, but it just hasn't been done in a larger scale in which I believe Marvel vs. Capcom should be. There are certain characters that kind of, and this is a meme, by the way, but this is pretty much what I think should happen with a 4v4 gameplay. So, for example, let's say Spider-Man, he's gonna have web swing, and the cowboy thing where he catches you and brings you in. And those are going to be pretty much these two or three main moves. He's going to have those two and maybe one more move. And then, Akuma is going to have, the fireball and the dragon punch, right? Um, and so each character you pick, similar to like a card game, is going to add something to your deck of moves each time you mix them up. You know what I mean? So, and it's gonna be more of a flowy thing. It's not. So the way I see it, it's not like Akuma has every move or Spider-Man has every move, but each of these guys have. Once you add a different character to your team, it enhances or gives something or takes something away from your strategy. So it's up to the player to combine, somebody that has good punches and somebody that has good kicks, somebody that has good projectiles, somebody that has good grappling skills, so they could complete a perfect strategy, which is similar to what has already been done. But I'm thinking something more in the lines of um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Injustice 2. Now, if you go in and you play that game, you'll notice that there's one guy playing, right? But it kind of flows you know, within each other. Somebody does projectiles, somebody comes out and throws ninja stars, or somebody does a slide, and then the special move is just all of them combined. Now, of course, this is an ambitious task to do because each time you add a different character within your team, it's going to enhance it in a different way. So this is why I compare it to like a card game. Um, and of course, I'm not saying turn MVC 4 into a card game, but I want what I'm saying is that it's going to be similar to a card game with the high paced movements of a fighting game. Um, and I think it's going to be fun to see, what different combinations are going to people are going to come up with, you know. But that's my opinion. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's kind of like what they've been doing already, but it's gonna be easier this way because it's gonna limit the amount of moves that each character has, and it's going to put it in the hands of the players to make up their own teams in a way that's going to strategically help them. So you're gonna put somebody that has, like I said, that has good anti-airs. You're gonna put, like, for example, Captain. Is it Captain Commando or Captain? Yeah, Captain Commando. He has the best anti-air in MVC2, right? So you're obviously gonna have him in the team, and like that. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And to be honest, some people play MVC2. You know, they just cover up the screen with projectiles and anti-airs, and they go through almost through like a cycle of movements um, that allow them to win most of the time. Of course, there's always going to be somebody in most games that is just really good at combos, and he's gonna roll out of your supers or whatever. But my point is, I think that would be a good idea. Let me know what you guys think. And also, the theme could be playing cards, or you know, the story could be that um, the Watchers, or those people that capture aliens. I forgot their names, but they came out in a Spider-Man TV show where they would capture different superheroes and make them fight each other. And maybe these guys could be the ones that are capturing people and putting them into cards or whatever, and making them fight each other. And that could be like the theme of, because every Marvel versus Capcom has a theme, right? Except for the no, actually the Infinite also had one, which was the stones, right? The fight for the Power Stones. Um, but anyways, that's my personal idea. You guys let me know what you guys think, and I think it'll be easier um to make more characters that way, and to put out more characters, and to it'll be good business too as well. But anyways, that's gonna be all for today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.